My wedding photographer deleted all our photos after my husband refused to let her eat or take a break in 8 hours. I was standing in our honeymoon suite still in my wedding dress when the text came through. Since your husband refused to allow me a 20-minute break to eat something after working 8 straight hours, I've deleted all photos from today. I'll send your deposit back Monday. My stomach dropped as I read it 3 times trying to process what happened. 800 precious memories gone. Looking back, I should have seen the warning signs. James had been obsessing over having the perfect wedding, micromanaging every detail despite my protest that we were going overboard on our tight budget. When we found Megan Part, an incredible photographer whose portfolio made me cry, she was already giving us a discount as she was building her business. During our final planning meeting, Megan mentioned she'd need a meal break during the reception. James nodded and said he'd arrange it with the caterer. He didn't. At the reception, I was floating on air, making rounds with relatives, while James handled the timeline. I barely registered Megan's increasingly exhausted appearance as the hours stretched on the 7 p.m. I noticed her asking James something at the head table. His response made her face fall, but I was pulled away by my grandmother before I could intervene. Later, my bridesmaid Rachel told me what happened. Megan asked James about taking her break since she hadn't eaten since breakfast. He told her professionals don't take breaks at events they're being paid for, and if she wanted the meal we'd set aside, she could eat after finishing the reception coverage at 10 p.m. By then, she would have been working for 10 straight hours without food or rest. When I confronted James the next morning, still in shock over losing our photos, he exploded. She's being dramatic. We paid her $2,500. That's like $250 an hour. We paid for her expertise, not her humanity, I whispered, suddenly seeing a side of my new husband I'd been ignoring. I found Megan's number and called her directly, James fuming beside me. I understand why you did what you did, I told her, my voice breaking. But is there any way to recover the photos? I'll pay whatever it costs. Her voice softened. Here's a backup. I was going to recover them after cooling down. I've never done anything like this before, but I felt so dehumanized. I would never have allowed this if I'd known, I said, glaring at James. A week later, Megan delivered our photos. They were stunning, parents 750 beautiful moments captured despite her exhaustion. I paid her an additional $500 as a gesture of apology. When I posted our wedding photos online, I tagged Megan's business with a glowing review. James was furious that I reworded her unprofessionalism. That night, I looked through the photos again, peer at James's face in each one, wondering what other warning signs I'd missed. Sometimes the most important picture is the one that shows someone's true character, even if you don't want to see it. 3 months later, I am filing for an annulment and living with Rachel while I figure out my next steps. The photos I treasure most now, the ones where I am surrounded by friends and family who actually see my worth. No perfect Instagram wedding is worth missing those red flags.